terms of the election, thinking about the election, what some people may have seen is this chart that's been running for a while, which is that the perceptions of the economy are running on parallel but completely different tracks depending on whether you're a Republican or a Democrat. And it's been published a lot in the last few days that they literally just if they literally deport 1.3 million people up to 8 million people, the U.S. goes into recession. If they initially only deport 50,000 human beings, which is a lot in human terms, that's not a huge part of the workforce. But if you've got industries, mining, fruit and vegetable agriculture, food processing, like the famous chicken processing plants in Arkansas, hard, low-income parts of healthcare and hospitality, caregiving. If those get hit because you're scaring workers and employers, small business employers and households not to hire migrants, it isn't like there's a huge amount of native or documented labor ready to move into these low-income jobs. And so that also will cause inflation. We know that despite what's said, and this is a fact, migrants on net create jobs for natives. Migrants on net reduce government deficits. So there's a whole bunch of negative effects that will persist. One of the biggest sources of inflation that people were upset about in recent years is housing price inflation. Rents, buying houses, all of that went up lots.
Confirmed.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's there.
Yeah.
It's data. This isn't perception. But it's very big in people's concerns. And one of the things, this is something Vice President Harris tried to talk about, but I obviously wasn't persuasive or successful enough, is that we need to increase the stock of housing in the U.S. We need to build more housing, rental and for sale.
We have a bunch of questions coming in here, more about the foreign aspect and our relationship with our foreign allies, especially in Asia.
Other countries have agency, not just China. Our allies, what are called non-aligned countries, and certainly our enemies like Russia and North Korea. And I think both the Trump administration and people are underestimating how other countries might react. So in the short term, they may all say, okay, we don't want to be on the bad side of the US. We don't want to be on the bad side of President Trump. And it may look like he's going to get a lot for his threats. But medium term, meaning 2 to 4 or 5 years out, I think the reverberations could be quite large. But a lot of major economies, the governments of major economies, are making plans to sort of preemptively make offers of various kinds to the Trump administration. We saw that the government of Japan under the late Prime Minister Abe essentially did this at the start of the last Trump administration. So I think Japan, South Korea, the United Kingdom, Canada are, and maybe some others, are likely lining up offers. And these offers will be in the form of, we'll promise to buy more natural gas from the U.S. We promise to buy more weapon systems from the U.S. We promise to move more production to the U.S. Because there's so many issues where the Trump administration is going to play hardball with Mexico on the border, on drugs, on their new judiciary reforms, on their energy deregulation or lack thereof, in addition to blocking Chinese investment in Mexico. And then reviewing USMCA and raising the barriers. So I fear very much Mexico's going to be in trouble.